what we have done so far is we have done a proper research of what is in demand. We have asked Perplexity about customers and their pains so that we know exactly what additional things we want to focus on. We have done a keyword research with KWFinder because we want to know what is a low keyword difficulty, and we have sorted that by things that are growing in demand. Then we have used low fruits to have even long-tail keywords. Then we have created articles with SEOWriting.ai. When we have created all these articles, we have optimized all these articles with Frase to have 100% score so that we have the best piece of or most in-depth piece of content. Now, when that is published on your website, we have internally linked all these pages so they are communicating between each other. And then we have created additional infographics for all these pages. And then we have posted all these infographics. So we scheduled all these infographics and we have converted them into Instagram posts by using Canva, and we can schedule them with Creator Studio. And if we want to schedule that on Pinterest, for example, we can use Feedhive. So that is what we have done so far. And keep in mind that I will divide these tools into a couple of categories. And the main categories will be about research. It will be about organic growth or tools that will help you to have more organic reach. Then the paid part, also how you can reach more people so that you are spending less money on ads, and also how you can increase the conversion rates. That will be the fourth category that will help you out. The combination for the conversion rate optimization, I will touch also slightly about the tools that can help you to increase the customer lifetime value. So let's go straight into the research tools. So the first tool is called Glimpse, and it is a Chrome extension that you can use with Google Trends. And you can toggle or untoggle so that you can use this glimpse or not. And then you can see inside the Google Trends for the specific keyword that you want to see how this is growing over time. You can see the momentum and how varies demand for this specific keyword. And based on that, you can actually know what are the related attributes for that specific keyword that you want to target. Or when you see this in your niche and you want to go a little bit deeper into the niche so that you can specialize into one specific area, so you can have an introductory product or service for other things that you're offering, because there is lower competition when you niche down to the specific thing. So it is easier to break through the market. So that's why when you're doing a research, for example, for customer research or product research or service research, you can use this tool. My recommendation is to start always with attributes. And from there, see, for example, if I have a IV therapy that I'm offering to people, I can see, cool, what is over here in the search volume. So what is the highest in demand? But when I see this based on the growth, then I can notice that for flow IV therapy, it is growing in demand quite a lot. And for dehydration. So if I can focus on these two, for example, then it will be easier for me to break through the market for the specific market. And then based on the questions, then I can see, cool, now what are the questions? And based on these questions, I can create content, short form pieces of content. And that way also I can break through the market, especially, for example, if I'm in one geolocation and I want to offer this on that geolocation. If I upload these videos on TikTok, these videos are in the local area because that is an algorithm, how it's working for TikTok. It starts from the original part and it is expanding if it's good engagement on your videos. So for a local part, that is how I would focus on. Of course, you can go on all and you can see all related keywords that are growing that are related to the core keyword. And that is how I would use Glimpse. There are other things within this tool. This is a free version. You can also use a paid version, but my recommendation is to use only paid version, like for example, for 1 month, and then maximize all the keywords that you want to do a research. And after that, you will not need to use it maybe for the best next 2 months. And then after that, you can subscribe again if you need to use it. That is how I'm using this tool specifically. This topic map, for example, is a good thing, but it is not working always like 100%. It's not 100% correct. For example, IV therapy is not related to the dog boarding, for example, or car detailing, but it is mentioning that it is closely related. But this part, for example, can be interesting related trends. And that can also, when you click on one of these ones, then you can do additional research. But don't just focus on one thing when you're doing research. The most important thing is what you're already offering so that you can niche down, so you can have a breakthrough product that can help your customers in a long term. And then from that, first thing that you are selling, so it is easier to sell that. You can introduce other products so you can increase the customer lifetime value. But usually the hardest thing is the first purchase, and you can break through when there is less competition using this way. The next tool is to use a Perplexity. If I want to have a little bit more insight on the ideal customer and what ideal customer actually wants, then I would use Perplexity to do a proper research. You can also use Gemini. It will give you a similar output, but with Perplexity, usually when I'm asking follow-up questions, I can go a little bit deeper, because with every search, it scrapes results again and then gives me a latest results. And I think that is quite beneficial. So Perplexity is also a very good tool. There are so many use cases how you can use Perplexity. When it comes to customer research, it gives very good insights. So for research, I would use Glimpse, and then after that, I would use Perplexity. Now that we know for our core keyword that is going up in the momentum, that there is a demand, and we know inside of Perplexity what are insights for this ideal customer, so what they actually want. Now after that, we want to do our research on from the SEO perspective. If we want to also generate momentum with SEO organic traffic, we need to know what is lowering the domain authority and keyword difficulty, so that when we are creating these articles from the SEO perspective, it is easier to break through the content. Just please keep in mind, when you are doing a keyword research, what you are doing with research, you are just doing a research in the past. What is difficult right now? The good thing about Glimpse, when you're using Glimpse, you can see other things that are growing in demand and they are not so popular right now. So you can create articles as well for that, so that you're positioning yourself in the future before everyone else in your market and your competitors are writing articles, so that you can position yourself ahead of time for the specific trends, so you can dominate that specific thing ahead of everybody else. So you can capture a majority of traffic before everyone else starts to catch up. But when you are doing a proper research when it comes to keyword difficulty, my recommendation is to use KWFinder. With KWFinder, it is nice. It gives you a nice overview of what is going on in the market, but I like to sort this out by trend. And then based on this trend, I can see, cool, there is a search at least like 30 people per month that they are searching. Usually it means that it is a little bit hard than that. And also I can see the keyword difficulty. So first I sort this out by trend. So what is going up in the momentum. And then after that, I see the search volume gets over 30. And then after that, I see keyword difficulty. If keyword difficulty is about 10 or around 10, that is fantastic. I will just focus on that immediately. That will be like my priority. So if the search volume, I can set the filter over here and set the filters properly. But for the sake of brevity of this video, because it's going to be a little bit longer, I would say set this filter for 30 and then keyword difficulty to be from 0 to 20, and then see what is, I will create articles that are from 0 up to 20, and I will create all these articles. Just keep in mind, I will go to article creation, how this can be incredibly fast, but now we will move to the next tool. Now, next tool is called Low Fruits, and Low Fruits is amazing if you want to know long tail keywords. So now you have a list of keywords that are like in keyword difficulty from 0 to 20 from KWFinder, but you want to expand this even more, because you will have main topics or main things from KWFinder, but you want to cluster all this to have multiple subtopics for the core topics. And Low Fruits can be very beneficial for this, because you can see all these things that are on the right side here. These are like weak spots. If you don't have any of these ones, if you scroll down, you can see there is less and less of them. But this is, for example, a very amazing keyword, very good keyword, because there are a ton of weak spots specifically for this. But what I would do here, I would just go to clusters, so it is clustering so that we don't have duplicated content. And from here, this is now clustered into main keywords and the main topics, and we'll just write articles about all these things. So I would extract all these keywords, and now I would have keywords from KWFinder, and also I will have keywords from Low Fruits, and I will have just a list of these keywords. So probably I would have 50 to 200 keywords, or that will be separate articles that can be prepared, so that from SEO perspective, we can double down on that. Now, to write all these articles, now for the list of keywords, I would use something like SEOWriting.ai. There are other tools as well that you can use. There are a ton of these AI writers online. But this one, because I will show you the next tool that is very good when it comes to content creation, but it gives you additional friction that is unnecessary. And SEO writing tool does not have that friction. I will explain you why that second tool, the next tool after this one, is very good. But for the sake of simplicity and for the scalability, when you're producing content, I think SEOWriting.ai does a really good job. So what I will do here, I will just go to bulk article and I will copy and paste all the main keywords that we have found from KWFinder and Lawfruits. And then I'll just generate the titles, you don't need to generate NLPs or LSIs. So latent semantic terms, you don't need to do that because when you're creating articles like this that are at least 1,500 words or more, you will have a decent amount of LSI. So that will be good. So from here, I will just set the tone of voice from my brand. Usually it is either friendly or casual, then put a point of view and so on. I don't want to now go about all of this, but I will just take all of this. I will fill this out. The only thing that is my suggestion in this part is to set quotes as no, and also to set italics as no. You can leave bolds because it is easier to read. But from my experience, these things should be set as no. You can add this as external linking and so on, but all of this is not so important as much as that you have an article size as medium, that you set your tone of voice, it is consistent throughout your entire website. And of course, they set the language, target country. One thing that I want to mention about target country, if you have a service that is localized or product that is localized, then I would set this country as your country. For example, if it's in US, because within the article, it will say people who live in US are, and then it will just mention that target country that you are focusing on that specific country. So after that, when you set all of this up, you can just click on run and then you can wait for a couple of minutes. Usually for one article, it takes about 1 to 3 to 4 minutes to write the entire article. Good thing about this tool is that it can create AI images and also it can find relevant YouTube videos and it can embed those YouTube videos on the article. When these articles are created, after that, you can, if you have a WordPress, you can synchronize what is created by this tool to synchronize to be automatically published on your WordPress website. But my suggestion is not to publish this immediately because you want to level up these articles so that they are most in-depth piece of content for that specific keyword, so that you don't have some AI gibberish thing. Actually, you are polishing this before you publish, because if you have just AI gibberish content, either it will not rank or Google will find out eventually that you have that type of content. It will then penalize your website. It will simply de-index those pages. So we don't want to do that because we have already done like 80% of the effort. We just want to add additional 20% of the effort so that we have most that in that piece of article for every single keyword. And after that, you will have something that is worthwhile to be published and be seen online. Now, let's just imagine that we have completed one of these articles, and this will be just for overview about IV therapy. And we are using the tool called Frase, Frase.io. This is a beta version there is an alpha version, beta version of the tool. And this is 2.0. Most likely, if you're watching this video, you can already have an access to this beta version. And this will be, of course, in the future, just a normal version of the tool. So I will focus on this one. Now, when you're using Frase, you can see this score over here, or that this is a topic score. So now what I have done, I have copy and pasted the first result on Google just to show you what can be improved on these first results, so that they are staying on the top result and also that they are capturing relevant key terms for the main term, so that it is not only about IV therapy key term, but other long tail keywords that are related for this topic. So now when we have this piece of content, I will just click here on the topic score, and then I can sort this out. That is a topic gap. That means all these articles that are in top 20 results that Frase has scraped, it is recognized that all these articles are mentioning these things, but we are not, or this article is not mentioning within their article. So for example, there is no mention about electrolyte imbalance, and they are talking about IV therapy. That should be mentioned. There is nothing about blood clots or blood pressure that should be mentioned in this article. Now, what you can do, you can simply use this Frase or this AI tool where you can copy these keywords. You can use a simple prompts like continue writing and include some of these keywords and copy and paste the keywords that are listed here. To copy these keywords, just click on these three dots and then copy to clipboard. And after that, we will have the next paragraph. It will continue writing. You can see this topic score is increasing. It was 50 something, now it is 73. Now I will just leave this as check. The next thing what I would do is I will highlight, for the sake of brevity of this video, I will not do that, but what I would do, I will highlight all of this. I would go to Claude or to ChatGPT and that just say, make this a little bit shorter, but make sure to leave these keywords, and I'll copy and paste the keywords that are here. So it is saving all these keywords that are important, but it is making everything more concise so that we have a strong introduction with the main keywords that we are missing so that we can have higher rankings for all these relevant keywords, and it will continue expanding. So now when you add this just a couple of times throughout this entire article, you can have topic score that is 100%, and you have not changed the entire article, but you have leveled up the existing article. And that means that you have now a original piece of content that is a more in-depth piece of content. It is better than everything else that is online for that specific keyword, because you have mentioned all these sub things or LSIs that are important for this topic. And you have everything that is clear, concise, and it is not very long, because I would just trim this down or trim this down with Claude or ChatGPT. So it is not introduction. It is like 500, 600 words. It is more snappy, concise, but it would include all these relevant keywords. So that is how I would use Frase. There are other things that what you can do with Frase. You can create an entire outline from scratch. You can do more research about SERP results. There are so many things that you can do with Frase, but I don't want to overwhelm you unnecessarily what you can do with this tool, because it is about effectiveness. This is why I would use Frase. It will be just to level up existing pieces of content that I would generate from SEOWriting.ai first. So SEOWriting.ai first, then I would use Frase to level up all these articles and only then publish them on my website. When I would publish all these articles on my website, I will need to internally link. So for internal linking the pages, so that there is more relevancy to all these articles, I would use something like Link Whisper. There are other tools as well, but this one works quite well. I recommend this tool for all my clients when we are doing SEO work, because they have a Shopify app. There is a good WordPress integration. They have a good plugin for that. I highly suggest you to use this tool, because when you publish all these articles, you want to internally link all these articles that they are basically communicating between each other, so that there is higher relevance and there is slight increase in rankings when you internally link these articles. So it is a good signal. Of course, you don't want to stop that, and you don't want to have links that are so random and not relevant to what you are linking to. So that's why Link Whisper is good, because it is reading your title and it is reading the text where it is highlighted that is relevant to the title where you want to link. So it is actually understanding what it needs to be linked together. So that's why Link Whisper is something that I would highly suggest you to use. So that also, not only that you have most in-depth piece of content, that you have images that are created with SEO writing tool, so that you have, from the standpoint, everything sorted out. Now also you can sort out internal links as well. To go one step further, you can even create infographic, and you can use or embed this infographic on your page, but also you can use this infographic also on Instagram. You can use infographic on Pinterest and so on. For Instagram, of course, you can resize this when you're using Canva. So this is the tool that we will use, because they have so many templates that you can use. For example, just as an example, we can use this infographic, and we can just use, we can say to ChatGPT, just copy and paste your text and just say, give me bullet points that I can use for my infographic, and you will have those bullet points. And after that, you can just copy and paste them into your infographic, and you can create an infographic as well. Not only that, but also you can now resize all these infographics that you will create. You can just click on resize and magic switch, and then you can just say that you want this to be an Instagram post, and then it will create you an Instagram post from this. With Canva, Canva is such a big tool. There are so many amazing things that you can do with Canva, but I want to focus on the specific things. But now we have been focusing on the SEO part and what you can do to really have an amazing pieces of content. So it's not something generic. So that you have went one step further, so that you're doing more work than everyone else, what they are doing now with AI tools, that you are doing one step further so that you can be positioned on the first page, not for a short period of time, but for a long term as well, and that you are not penalized. So this is a proper approach to have. Now, to save you a little bit of time, you don't need to even copy and paste the text to ChatGPT and so on. This tool, HarpaAI, it is Chrome extension. It works on every page that you are on. So for example, let's say that I'm on this page for IV therapy and I want to summarize this. So I can just say, I will activate Harpa here, and then I will just say, summarize this page into bullet points. And you can select the model that you want. I will just leave 3.5 for ChatGPT because it is fast, and I'll just click on page here because it will now read the page. It will understand what is on the page specifically. And now it is nicely summarizing this. The good thing about this tool and why this is important for you as a business owner, you don't need to waste time, a ton of time. So when you're doing any kind of research or when you want to learn something new, when I'm watching, for example, YouTube videos, I'm using this tool to summarize the entire video and just get key ideas. And then I can ask this HarpaAI, now, can you tell me where was this specifically mentioned? If something was interesting for me in the video, then I will get a timestamp where that was it. So I don't need to watch the 2-hour video or podcast or something. I can just see the highlights, what is important for me, then focus on that part. And that is how we learn things a lot faster. So HarpaAI is an amazing tool. It's probably about 2% of the things that HarpaAI can do. I was mentioned because it can automate a ton of things and so on, but Harpa is an amazing tool as well. Now, when you have created all these pieces of content and you have infographics, you can, of course, also create Instagram posts, for example, for carousels, just an example, and then you want to schedule all of this ahead of time. What you can use for native platforms for Meta, so for Instagram and for Facebook, I highly suggest you to use native platforms when you're scheduling things. Now, just go to Creator Studio and then you will have an access to schedule or for the content, and you can schedule the things ahead of time here. And also when you are scheduling things on different platforms, so for example, on Pinterest specifically, if you want to schedule there, for TikTok as well, if you want to schedule, I suggest you to use Feedhive. It's amazing, a very simple tool to use where you can just schedule things ahead of time as well. So both of these things are for scheduling posts ahead of time, because what we have done so far is we have done a proper research of what is in demand. So we know what is in demand. We have asked Perplexity or to ask about customers and their pains so that we know exactly what additional things we want to focus on there. Then we have done a keyword research with KWFinder because we want to know what is a low keyword difficulty and there is a demand for that. And we have sorted that by things that are growing in demand. Then we have used low fruits to have even long tail keywords so that we have more opportunities to have more articles. Then we have created all these articles with SEOWriting.ai. Now, when we have created all these articles, then after that we have optimized all these articles with Frase to have 100% score so that we have the best piece of or most in-depth piece of content for that specific keyword. Now, when that is published on your website, we have internally linked all these pages so they are communicating between each other. And then after that, we have created additional infographics for all these pages. And then we have posted all these infographics. Now we scheduled all these infographics and we have converted them into Instagram posts by using Canva, and we can schedule them with Creator Studio. And if we want to schedule that on Pinterest, for example, we can use Feedhive. So that is what we have done so far. So this is already quite a lot what we have done, and you can now repeat this process for all the articles, and you can see how this can speed up the business growth. But let's say that you want to focus also on YouTube. So what kind of ideas, what kind of YouTube title also, or what kind of topics you should talk about? You can use this tool. It's called Creator Fuchs Pro to be more specific. It is a subscription-based tool. It can help you to generate the titles based on what you provide as a background for your business. And then it will give you suggestions. You can see these frameworks here. And these frameworks are basically like a formulas for the videos that are performing quite well. And you can see what kind of thumbnails are performing quite well. So you can mix, match, and see what is working. So there is high attention when people see the thumbnail, and then people will read the title. And based on the title, what is performing based on the framework, you can create your own tweets and your own video. So that is something that you can use if you want to focus on researching and brainstorming the different YouTube video ideas as well. When you want to create all these videos, my suggestion is, if you are sitting in front of the camera like I'm doing this right now, my suggestion is to use Descript. Actually, right now, as I'm recording this, I'm using Descript to record this entire video. It is a very simple tool to use and amazing for editing. It is very good for editing the entire video in quite short period of time without any fancy things. You will notice that there are not fancy things, and it's unnecessary, at least from my perspective, to have any fancy like editing things. It is about the value that you're providing. Now, with this tool, you're editing everything based on the text and transcription that you are getting from the video. You upload the video or record video within the Descript, and you will have on the right side, you will have the video, and on the left side, you will have basically like a document, like a Word document. And you just delete the parts that you don't like or you see they're repetitive or within your text, and you can just delete them, and they're deleted from the video as well. But there are so many other things that you can do with Descript that are related with AI, because with this, you can eliminate all arms and those filler words, and also with one click. And also with one click, you can eliminate silences. So when you are not saying anything for 1 second or more, you can define that. It can automatically delete all these silences there. Just some things that you can do with this tool. There are other things that you can do that will find the highlights of the entire video, so that you can have highlights that are for 30 seconds long. So for example, if you have video that is 30 minutes long, and you can find like 10 highlights of 30 seconds, so that you can have short form pieces of content, can generate you captions, so many things you can do with this tool. So I highly suggest you, if you want to record videos, like you're sitting in front of the camera, explaining things and sharing the screen, I highly suggest you to use Descript. Cool. Now we have covered everything that is organic. We have covered the entire process for SEO. We have covered the things about video creation, so how you can do this, and also how you can schedule all of this. After this, we want to focus on the paid part. When it comes to paid part, you don't want to spend money on testing things. You want to allow your competitors to test things, and allow your competitors to leave only the winners or the winning creatives. If you want to target people who are on Meta, if your ideal customers are hanging out on Meta, then you can use Facebook's ads library. And based on that, you can type here your competitor, and you can see what is performing already. Because if the ads are not performing, they would not be active. And you can see when they have started an ad. If, for example, an ad is running for past 3 months or 4 months, that means most likely that ad is performing, because if it was not performing, it would not be an active ad. So that is how you can put your competitor. You just have a list of 5 or 10 competitors. If you don't know exactly who are your competitors, you can use Perplexity and ask Perplexity. Again, it's an amazing tool. You can ask Perplexity who would be in your niche competitors, and you can find like 5 to 10 competitors. And then you can use Facebook ads library and see what is working, and then find top 3 to 5 ads or angles, what is working, so that you are not spending money on testing things. Let your competitors do the testing, and then you can double down on what is working. But if you want to know as well how or what is in the trend, and especially if you are in the short form pieces of content where Instagram Reels or TikTok, you can use TikTok's Business Creative Center, and you can go on trends, and then you can go to TikTok videos. And from here, you can see organically what is performing, and you can sort this out for the past 7 days and so on. There are so many things that you can do. They have done a really good job when it comes to this creative center, because based on this inspiration, you can see what are the top products that are selling. Again, so many things that are working quite well here. So for example, let's go to perfume, and we want to see the details about this. And we can see what is the popularity and what are videos that are working quite well. So we know the angle of what is working. If you dig deep here as well, you can see what is your target audience, what is the age on TikTok, and how much people are actually spending on ads, what is the click-through rate, and so on. So if you are into paid parts, I would highly suggest you to think where is my ideal customer? So where is my ideal customer? Is it on Meta? Is it on TikTok? Is it on Instagram? Where is one ideal customer? Double down over there. Generate the cash flow. Do not diversify yourself and your focus on so many things. Just focus on where is your ideal customer if you want to focus on the paid part. If it's organic part as well, just ask yourself. It is low-hanging fruit to focus on the SEO part, but for the videos, just focus where is your ideal customer? Is it on YouTube? Is it on Instagram? Where should you focus on so that you can generate momentum, brand awareness? But for the paid part, ask yourself and do a real research before you spend any money on this, because you don't want to drain all the cash flow and then you become stagnant business. You don't want that to happen. But if you want to have additional inspiration, what kind of ads you should use, please just use Foreplay. It is amazing tool. There is a free trial to use this tool. And the cool thing about this tool that other people who are creating ads for other businesses are uploading their inspirational boards. So what is already performing. So you can have, just imagine this like a Pinterest for your ads, where you can pin or save all the ads that are performing quite well. So that if you don't want to use, for example, just Facebook library, you can use Foreplay and have everything in one place. It is an amazing tool. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'll just test this out and see how this is going to help you, because there is a free trial and you can test it out. But again, this should be focused only if you are focusing on the paid part. If you don't have money, if you're not prepared to spend money on ads, don't focus on this unless you are really prepared to double down on paid part. Now we have covered everything about organic part. We have covered a lot about tools that will help you with paid part. Now you need to know what is the attribution, where you can attribute all your sales, because if you're using Shopify or even for WordPress, all attribution are in Google Analytics. You can see some kind of attribution, but it is not always 100% correct. So we need to have concrete data where or how you can attribute all your sales. So is it coming from ads? Is it coming from organic and so on? So Triple Whale is the tool that you can use for data attribution. Exactly where you should double down on. It's a very good tool. It is a little bit on the pricer side. When you see the pricing, it is on the pricer side, but still, I highly suggest you, if you're spending a ton of money on ads, now if you're spending like 10K on ads, you want to know what ads are performing, what is giving you the best ROI. And if you should, for example, double down on organic even more, for example, if you are getting like 50% on organic, 50% on paid, then if you accumulate the growth on organic, it will overwhelm or it will overwin the paid part. The good thing about paid part is regarding the remarketing and also the scalability. So that's why I love paid part. But organic part, if there is a winner there, I think that's good. Now, when we know about the attribution, how people are coming to the website, what are the sales, we want to also convert these people who come to your website into leads, because you will have most likely about 97% of the people who will leave the website. If your conversion rate is, let's say, 3%, 97% of the people are leaving the website without becoming at least a lead. So if you can have about 2% or 5% for leads, that is incredible. And for that, my suggestion is to usually use quizzes. And usually quizzes should be something that is related to visitors' personality, or something that they will uniquely find out about themselves. It is not about your product, it is about them. Usually that is the mistake I see with business owners. They're creating a quiz about their product. People don't care about your product, people care about themselves, and they want to know more about themselves. And if you help them to uncover something about themselves using the quiz, and then you recommend them your product based on their personality or something they have now found about themselves, that is a proper way to use quizzes. Lead quizzes is just one of the tools. It is not just one tool. There are many tools that you can use for quizzes. And that is how I suggest you to approach the strategy when it comes to lead generation, is to use quizzes, but do not make a mistake to create a quiz about you, about your brand, about your product. It is all about your customers, what they want to know about themselves and then attach your product at the end. That what will help them to level up them as a person now, because now they know something about themselves. When we are talking about the website and leads and all of that is at the end about conversions and sales, it is about tracking what is actually contributing when people are on your homepage, for example. What thing in the menu it is contributing to have more sales? What button on the product page is giving you the most amount of sales? So all these things should be tested, of course, especially if you have over 2,000, 3,000 people who are visiting your product pages, then you should definitely now focus on the optimization. If you have under, let's say 2,000 people who are visiting your entire website, then you should focus first on gathering as much data and information, more traffic, and then focus on the optimization. So for optimization, heatmap.com is very good because it can give you an attribution of where people are based on the heat map, where people are clicking, and based on that click, if that is contributing to the sale. So you can use this one. Of course, you can use Hotjar, for example, or even Microsoft Clarity, because Microsoft Clarity is free, but I suggest you to use a Heatmap if you have, for example, multiple SKUs. And when I say multiple, it is about 30 or more SKUs or different products, and that you know exactly what is going on the website. If you have a little bit more complex website, I suggest you to use heatmap.com. Now, to test this in a more proper way, I like this tool. It is VWO.com. And with this tool, they have something, this part I like the most. It is about AI Copilot for the campaigns, because it will give you a really nice suggestions, but the pricing itself can be also on a little bit pricier side, like I have mentioned for the triple whale. So the things that I'm mentioning for the heat map and VWO is on the little bit pricier side, and you need to use that. If you don't have enough money to start with these tools, I suggest just to start with Microsoft Clarity. It is a free tool, and based on that heat map, you can already make some changes. But please don't make things around the website unless you have a decent amount of traffic. So at least 2,000 people who are visiting monthly your website, because that is the thing that I'm seeing, that most people are just tweaking things and ignoring the main thing, which is generating traffic to the website first. Next tool is called BHuman. When it comes to BHuman, it can help you to increase the customer lifetime value when they complete the purchase, when customers complete the purchase. Because now imagine we have optimized the website to have slightly higher conversion rates based on the heat map. So we have changed the things. We have seen people are dropping off. We have increased the leads. So from visitors into leads, and now we have email sequence for these leads so that we can have more sales. Now, when you get sales, you can reach out to your customers with personalized video where you can start the sentence with hey and their first name. And then you can have basically like a templated rest of the video where you are thanking them for their purchase, or anything that you can imagine of that can be for the rest of the video. But first part is personalized, and BHuman is doing that. It is replicating your lips with AI, and it is replicating your voice as well. I have an ultimate plan, and I will be fully transparent. It is not still perfect. It is about 80% good. There still 20% is quite a lot when you think about it. If someone is skeptical, and you will lose a lot of their trust if this video is not spot on. So it is, I would test this out and see if it's going to work, because there is a free plan, and then you can see how this is going to work in your case and if you are satisfied. I'm still not using this all the time for my customers because I can give them an access to use this tool, but I suggest you to test this out if it's working for your brand, because for some of the brands we are using that because there is a screen in the background, because you can set this up to have a background and you have a bubble like in the long video. So simply because of the entire video, your video, like your face is so small, it is not so visible that your lips are generated by AI, but the voice generation is quite decent. So for that we are using, but if everything is on the full screen, if someone watches this on the desktop version or on the big screen, then they will notice that. So that's why we are not using that for the big screen, but for something that we are screen sharing, then we are using this. But it is something that I want to mention. And I think in the future, a lot of businesses will, of course, use hyper-personalization. And this is, I think, one of the properties for hyper-personalization. If this lip syncing is improved to be 100% properly replicated, it's going to take a little bit longer time to achieve that, but we are getting there for sure. For email automation and everything that comes down to increasing the leads and from leads to customers and from customers to increasing the lifetime of the customer, for people who have a bet in the cart and so on, you already know that for Klaviyo, it's an amazing tool. There are so many things what you can do with Klaviyo. So I will not go into details about Klaviyo. Almost everyone knows about Klaviyo. There are other, of course, other tools that you can use instead of Klaviyo, but I like the simplicity of the Klaviyo. And if you have any problems with Klaviyo, you can easily find experts who can help you out for not a ton of money, because they're simply supply and demand. There are a ton of people who are not familiar with Klaviyo. So I suggest you highly to use Klaviyo if you want to level up your email marketing efforts. And final one is Skool. Now, Alex Hormozy, Sam Owens, if you are in the marketing space, you know about both of them. But in short, why I'm mentioning Skool as the last thing, if you have any kind of product or service, then that can have also a community-based thing where people can have where you can have a free group. And my suggestion is to have a free group, not a paid group, if you have a product and service at the beginning, because you're increasing your credibility and your awareness about, for example, about service or product. Let's say that you are selling the products. If you're selling the products and you have a community and where you are talking to each other about, let's say that it is about golfing, you can imagine what's going to happen where other people will invite their friends also into their group, and what will happen for your products as well, because they will see that you are the owner of the group, and your increase in trust and also the conversion rate is a lot higher because there is higher trustworthiness, but also your customer lifetime value is increasing because people are part of that group. And since they have purchased something from you already, they will continue purchasing because they are part of that same group. The similar thing applies when you have services, because when you have services, other people will see you as more trustworthy, and there is higher likelihood to be more booked for your services. And then over time, you can increase your prices, or you can simply hire more people, but you are the creator of that community. And I highly suggest to have a free community. Later on, you can have a separate paid community. But I think for increasing the customer lifetime value, even though it sounds a little bit strange, it is about free community. It is not immediately to have a paid community, because with that free community, you are increasing the trust and also perceived value of your product and service. And that is how you can increase the customer lifetime value over time. So these are all 24 tools that I want to cover. I could go even longer and deeper into all these tools, but I don't want to make this extremely long video, but I wanted to cover all these tools. Whereas I wanted to make this video like at the beginning of this year. Now it's like April. So I didn't want to procrastinate, like to wait until December to make this video for 24 tools for 2024. But yeah, I want to still cover all these tools. There are so many other tools and also so many things that I can talk about all these tools. So if you have any questions about any of these tools or anything else, just please let me know, and I wish you all the success in the world. Thank you.